Yeah, and I know that you're addressing it for long-term concerns, and you should be as an Oklahoma guy, and everybody here watching and listening from an Oklahoma standpoint, looking down the road and preparing the team and the program for SEC. I'm more interested just to see the Big 12 race this year because I just think that Texas has an opportunity. They have the ability and the talent to maybe run away from the field. But when has Texas ever done that? When we're still waiting for them to pull through on that. So I have no confidence in Sark, and I have no confidence that they're going to actually do that. So what I'm expecting is like this complete free for all. You can almost throw out a team in the Big 12 this year, and I could make an argument for about 6 of them winning the conference. So I just think it's going to be a fun season from the standpoint of unpredictability within the Big 12. But you're right. What's much more important is preparing this program for a step up and competing in that league.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Mark. I, I I couldn't agree with you more. I think there's a lot of intrigue into this season. I know we'll have plenty of time to get through that, but you've got. I think at this point, most people feel like Texas is probably the odds-on favorite, at least in the early season. I mean, stop me when you've heard this before, but but I think
They are really loaded on offense,
they
especially.
yeah, they are. So I think they are going to be the odds-on favorite. And you've got Kansas State that's up there. I know TCU's lost a lot, but I think they're still going to be a team. You get to the national championship game, and no matter how that worked out, you still have, in terms of how they played last year through the Big 12 itself. So I think um, you've got a lot of notoriety, and you've got a lot of respect that kind of built on that team. But you've got a few teams, and Oklahoma's one, Baylor's another that is sort of kind of in the middle of the pack, so to speak, a little bit behind, and we'll see how, because both of those teams had a kind of, you would say, had a disappointing 2022 comparing where they were in the preseason and what those expectations were coming into the season. So I think, yeah, I mean, if then you talk about the new kids on the block, so to speak, with BYU, and BYU is probably the best positioned team, I would say, coming in out of Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. But I think that will be interesting to go through. And I mean, and Oklahoma State's one of those teams as well. That's interesting. They've just had a horrible recruiting class, by their standards, and they've lost a lot of kids off last year's team, and including the quarterback. And so it'll be interesting to see what that looks like. And so, yeah, no, I think I'm with you. I know that a lot of people are excited about 2024 with the SEC, but I'm excited what this new look Big 12 team could look like. Our Big 12, you know, conference could look like this next year.
Yeah, look at all 4 of these newcomers, and I think there can be a case made for each one of them as being the most prepared to enter the league. I would agree with you that it's BYU right now, but over the past, 10 years, Houston, UCF, and Cincinnati have all taken their turns as being the preeminent group of 5 program, and then BYU has been the most consistent historically over the last 40 to 45 years in being a top-notch wherever you want to place them as an independent, a power 5 or a group of 5. They're somewhere lost in between. But it's going to be obviously more challenging I've run through the numbers, and all 4 of those programs have basically competed at like a 500 level in terms of wins and losses against the power 5 in the last 10 or 15 years, but having to play those kind of opponents week after week after week may be a different story. So there might be a bit of a, just like TCU experienced, um, a year or 2 that it takes to acclimate, and they certainly, none of them are recruiting at the level that you would expect them to be able to compete if you just look at recruiting rankings. But then again, when has Kansas State ever brought in anything better than like a top 50 class? So they're able to pull it off. So coaching and development is going to be a big key in that.